You cannot miss it here at Grafenwehr, Germany. On base, it is the landmark. It is the water tower, 100 years old this year. One of the few remaining landmarks after this place was laid to waste by Allied bombs in World War I. We're seeing members of the NCO Academy marching now, the oldest academy in the Army, celebrating a 60th anniversary this fall.
And it's the only NCO Academy in the Army that routinely trains soldiers to be sergeants coming from places like Poland, the Czech Republic, Slovenia. So many countries, even Africa, represented here, part of what makes Grafenwehr such a special place.
And of course, we have gathered here on the most special of days, particularly to be here. It is Veterans Day, and well, it's a notion and all that it conjures. It's been almost a century in the making. For on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of the year 1918, World War I drew to a close here in Europe. A day that then President Woodrow Wilson actually first christened Armistice Day. It's a fitting nod, really, to the peace that was brought by the sacrifices of so many for so many more. Today, then, almost a century later, it's a history that we remember as one, as a nation, and it bears very special significance.
Wearing these poppies that were just given to us by the VFW. 100 years, 100 years this has been a training center for soldiers. First for soldiers right here from Bavaria, and today home to tens of thousands of Americans. That's why we want to introduce you to Grafenwehr, Germany, to the men and women who deploy to Iraq and Afghanistan, who not only train for combat here, they raise their families, they attend schools, they attend churches, they're living and working beside soldiers from so many other countries. This is their community, and today we're celebrating their commitment to all of us.
And it is certainly an honor to have been able to join them on so august a day. As you can see, well, we had to travel some 4,000 miles to do it from the studios there in Bristol, Connecticut. Just over the pond and a few countries. You pack a few brats in, and here we are. It is quite something to be here. A remarkable day and such a remarkable place. Let's take then a closer look at Graf.
Grafenwehr, Germany, home to the 7th U.S. Army Joint Multinational Training Command, otherwise known as the JMTC. It is the largest U.S. Army training command outside the continental United States. Located 3,907 miles from Bristol, Connecticut, the base consists of live fire ranges, simulation centers, classrooms, and facilities which provide realistic and relevant training to U.S. Army, NATO, and allied units.
Hey, what's the status? Hey, the truck's up, 700 meters.
The JMTC's Combined Arms Training Center instructs soldiers from more than 38 countries around the world. In 2009, the Joint Multinational Simulation Center opened a state-of-the-art 50,000 square foot facility for digital models, simulations, and virtual training. Grafenwehr's history runs deep. At the end of World War II, the U.S. Army occupied the Grafenwehr training area and repurposed it to train American soldiers and house equipment. During the first decades of the Cold War, hundreds of thousands of American soldiers spent time training at Grafenwehr.
Keep back, let know when the message verified.
Grafenwehr has seen its share of famous Americans. General George S. Patton was a key force in the Army acquiring the training area and actually claimed German General Erwin Rommel's desk as a spoil of war.
And the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, spent several rotations in Grafenwehr between 1958 and 1960 while serving with the 3rd Armored Division. Between training, Elvis would sing at local clubs. The Grafenwehr is certainly more than just a training command. It is very much a community. Over 40,000 soldiers, families, civilians living and working here in the Grafenwehr training community, and also home to the Army's largest shopping center in Europe at nearly 200,000 square feet. We got a little fast food there earlier this week. Pretty impressive, certainly considering the humble beginnings here as it was originally established for soldiers of the Royal Bavarian Army 100 years ago. And among those joining us today here at Graf, it is the home of the Joint Multinational Training Command, which has its headquarters right behind us here, right by this water tower that you saw earlier. This is the largest training command outside the continental United States. Almost all the NATO countries train here, including partner nations from Middle East and Africa. So we have a lot of cultures, a lot of folks coming together in this one place and literally under this one tent. And also, we have Delta Company 1-4. They are loud and they are proud. They play the bad guys, even though they are the good guys. They act as the opposing force during training for U.S. Army Europe. They also have the longest continuing service of any unit deployed in Afghanistan. They have a very difficult job done.
Again, they are competing in the Warrior Challenge. Much more from the parade field, much more from here inside the tent. Grafenwehr, Germany, the home to a very special Veterans Day Sports Center. But for now, back to Bristol and John.